Hi, my name is Olivia Hoy, and I'm a senior at James River High School. In middle school, I really tried to make good grades. I really tried to please my parents and my teachers, any authority figure in my life. I thought that if I was the best at everything I did, then I would be worthy of love and I would be worthy of acceptance. That same year, I decided to go on a retreat with my youth group. While I was there, we would sing songs, and that was the first time that I really heard scripture in a way that I could understand, and that made sense to me. That weekend, I decided to follow the Lord and start a relationship with Him. After I got back, my friends started inviting me to Young Life Club, and I had always heard about it, but I had never went. But my mom finally let me go, and I had so much fun. We played games and sang songs, and I got to hear about the Lord, which was really exciting to me, and it reminded me about that retreat and why I decided to follow the Lord. After going to club for a while, I got invited to campaigners, and I went and I learned how to read scripture and how to understand scripture, and that was really important for me in finding my place in the Young Life community and with this community of people that love the Lord. After going to campaigners, I got invited to summer camp, and I'm not really sure why I decided to go, but I'm really glad I did. There I met a few more leaders that were new to Botetourt, and I got to develop really close relationships with my friends. Summer camp was so special for me. I had never been to anything like that. It was like having club all the time and getting to hang out with my friends, and we would have cabin time after club at night, and there I got to talk with my friends about things that we didn't talk about back home, about our lives and about how the Lord affected us and touched us in so many ways. After summer camp, my ideas about dance and school and friendships and authority in my life started to change. I started to realize that the world's image of me wasn't God's image of me, and that the Lord loved me just because I was His, and that I didn't have to earn that love. After going to summer camp, I realized that Young Life was something that was really special to me, and that I wanted to use it to bring my friends to Jesus and to tell them the good news about the Lord.
Hi, my name is Banquet. I'm from Lord Botetourt High School. I'm a senior. So I was one of the kids that went to Central Academy Middle School, and from Central Academy I went to Lord Botetourt. And not many kids from Central Academy go to Lord Botetourt, so my first day there, I kind of felt alone. So I kind of turned into the person that would literally do anything to make a friend, and I was just a yes man. And I guess I was the one to always say yes to a party or yes to drinking or smoking, and I just found myself trying to fulfill myself with all these things that weren't going to fill me up. And no matter what I did, at the end of the day, I always felt like I was missing something. I was an athlete. I ran cross country for LB, and I was also a soccer player. And I remember as a freshman, I went out for JV, and at JV tryouts, I was not anything special on the field, but I met this guy named Jack, and he was absolutely the nicest person I've ever met. And I don't know, it was just something about him that made me feel like I was the most important person ever. Through that, we just started this relationship, and he told me he was part of this organization called Young Life. And he told me that he'd love for me to come, and I was like, you know what, sure. And I guess I was just kind of scared because I felt like maybe Young Life wasn't my type of thing, like maybe I wouldn't fit in. But I guess Jack made me feel like I could fit in there. So I asked my brother if he could take me to campaigners. And so one night he drove me to campaigners, and as soon as I walked in the door, Jack was there to greet me. And he invited me to come to Young Life that next Monday. And then that next Monday, I can remember it clearly, literally like it happened yesterday, because it was probably one of the best nights of my life. I walked in to this church, and I'd seen the most wild kids I've ever seen in my life. People were jumping on each other, and just everybody was just so happy to be there. I guess it's different because growing up in a family, your family has to love you. I mean, I don't know, but these people, they don't have to love me, but they just did, and it just felt great. So through the summer, I kept up with Jack and a bunch of my Young Life friends, and I guess Young Life Camp was one thing that Young Life did, and it was basically where they took a bunch of kids to Rockford's Young Life Camp, and they'd had pitched the idea that it was the best week of their life. I went to camp and I can say it was 100% the best week of my life. There's literally nothing can compare to camp. I remember literally pulling up in the buses and just looking around. I couldn't believe it was real. Like, this camp literally had everything, and everybody there was the nicest people ever. But one thing I do remember about Young Life Camp is the talks at night. I remember coming out of club one night, I think it was probably the fourth night, and I really felt like I truly needed to buckle down and start a relationship with Christ. So I remember talking to one of the other Botetourt leaders, his name was Jonathan, and basically we stood outside of the club room, and I remember both of us were in tears, and it wasn't embarrassing or anything. There were people all around us, but it was just such a special moment because I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and I knew that like my life could be fulfilled with God and Jesus Christ, and that I wouldn't have to work to please people anymore. So basically from that night, I started a relationship with Jesus, and I really buckled down, wanted to follow Christ, and basically my life has never been the same.
Hello, I'm Brenda. I asked Jesus to create my heart. I love the way He made me. I know He's God, Son. Like, excited, like what He did for my sin. He had gave me my voice. I sing with it. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. That's my story.